and gentlemen of the internet, what is hippy happening? My name's Haphazardous Waste, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft with Hap. Not only is it another episode of Minecraft with Hap, it is episode 10, baby! We made it! We finally made it to episode 10. Double digits, baby. Oh man, very excited to be bringing you this episode here today. A lot's been changing around Red Gulch. I'm sure you saw from the opening time lapse. I went ahead and added some gravel underneath the train tracks to give it more of that sort of train track feel. This was a suggestion by Drew, aka Time Off. I was actually planning on doing this as well, and I figured what the heck, I'd go ahead and start out this episode with it, because last episode was a little bit rushed because I had to go traveling, but I'm back to recording, and yeah, very happy about all this. What do you guys think of the tunnels too? I figured I would go ahead and just put black concrete behind it for like the sort of tunnel hole aesthetic, because I wasn't going to actually like dig out an entire tunnel for this train. That'd be a bit ridiculous. And in fact, it works out perfectly over here, because I did in fact install the nether portal right there. You see a couple flecks of obsidian there, but you know, it's not that noticeable. And so if we go up in the train now, just head straight to the back, there she is right here. So now when we come out of the portal, we're just gonna get off the train like you do, step off right here, and boom, we're in the train station. As you can also see here, I've also been doing a little bit of terraforming. I got the hillside here to meet up where the tunnel ends, and I did so over there as well. And then just for the heck of it, I decided to go ahead and change up this little area right here, right where our livery is. And I wanted to kind of make it look like, you know, trampled land where there's been plenty of animals staying in these pens right here. I need to add more hay bales here, but I don't have a wheat farm going right now, so I'll have to make do for now. But check this out too. I added some wheat just here and there in this little area, and I gotta say, I really love the look of wheat just as like a sort of plant growing in this area. And so what I think I might end up doing is I might carry this idea over to our pathways. See, we have these little grass tufts right here, and they look fine, don't get me wrong, but I think what would make it look a little bit better is if I added wheat, just to kind of give that long grass feel to things. I don't know, let me know what you guys think about that, because I think it's a really good texture, and I think it kind of, like the little bit of green underneath kind of, you know, it pairs nicely with the colors of the mesa behind it too, and I think it would look good with the orange sand as well. But how could I forget one of the most important changes to this world, and that is that we are in 1.19, baby! Now, will I be going after a warden this episode? I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, I totally forgot to mention that when I was talking about this right here. I even added in some packed mud into this area, just to kind of add to the whole brown kind of trampled aesthetic to this area, and I think it looks pretty freaking good. I do think I will be using mud in a build in the near future. So for today's episode, like my previous episodes, I have no idea what I want to do. Well, see, there's a whole lot laid out in front of us for us to deal with. We could work on Red Gulch some more, kind of finish up all the buildings around here, finish up just the overall aesthetic on the top side, but we could also go and explore the new 1.19 update. We could also go and gather up mobs for Red Gulch, like add in some villagers finally, maybe add in some cows into the new pen area that I just built up. I don't really know, so I guess what's going to happen is the next clip is going to determine what I do, and until then, I got to do some thinking, figure things out, and I'll be back with you guys in a little bit. So it's been a while since that last clip ended for me, and since then I've gone around and just sort of fixed up Red Gulch a little bit, added some aesthetic in, just kind of made sure things were looking kind of nice, and I finally determined what I wanted to do for this episode, and what I want to do is I actually want to go ahead and finish up this place. Last episode, I promised that I was going to finish it up, and but unfortunately that episode came out a bit rushed because I had to go traveling. And so this episode, what I think I want to do is I kind of want to finish it up. Whether that means finishing up the buildings, adding in mobs, I don't really know. We're just going to play it by ear. So starting off with our aesthetic choices, if we go ahead and take a look right here, I decided to go ahead and incorporate wheat like I said in an earlier clip this episode. And I gotta say, I really like how it looks. Let's just take off into the air real quick, look at it from above. Yeah, that looks really good. It looks like sort of just dead grass. It's just a very nice little aesthetic. And I made sure to place it very scarcely. I know this doesn't look very scarce, but I made sure to place it very scarcely and kind of up against the building, so that way if I'm just like running through here, I don't accidentally trample the tilled soil. And I think it looks pretty freaking good, but let me know what you guys think too. What do you think about this sort of dead grass aesthetic with wheat? Going into the train station here, I decided to add in a little bit more aesthetic to the main platform right here where you wait for the train. I decided to add in these benches right here, which I am probably going to change because these just, they don't look good. I don't know a good bench design that I would like to incorporate because I want this to be like benches right here. I added some right there and right here and these sort of back-to-back benches, and I'm not a good designer. I might have to change this in the future, but if you guys have any suggestions too, be sure to let me know. I added in some barrels though because it's like we're always trying to load up the train, and so we have a whole bunch of shipments of cargo ready to load on. And then right here at the ticket counter, I decided to add in a little bit of an Easter egg aesthetic. Alright, so enough showing off the different aesthetic builds that I've worked on here. Now it's actually time we start working on some things for this episode. So, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to change things up a little bit. I am going to split myself into 2 separate timelines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by having a time-lapse going with me building up some buildings around here. And then another version of me is going to go around, gather up a whole bunch of mobs for this place to kind of make the place seem a bit more livelier. And that'll include like cows, maybe some sheep, and then some villagers, of course. So, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy the music. I got some serious building to get going on. And once we join back, I'll show you guys the fruits of my labor. Alright guys, so what did you think? What do you think of that time lapse? I hope you guys enjoyed that while my separate timeline self went and kind of collected some animals and whatnot. But yeah, I really enjoyed building these last couple of buildings. Now for this area, I'm not sure what I want to do, you know, just for this whole area because it's kind of a blank area right now. I don't know, I'm not sure what to do myself. But right now though, I really enjoyed what I've built so far. And I knew going into this that I wanted to have a building that's just kind of nothing but the frame, like the framework of the building, and I think it turned out really good. I used the birch wood just to kind of show that it's like a newer kind of wood that's like freshly cut and it hasn't been really decayed over time, and I think it turned out really good, and I think it looks good with all the scaffolding around it as well. I also enjoy the wood piles and whatnot, the little saw blade. I just kind of think it paints a nice little picture of this is a construction site right outside the town. And plus, I think it also adds to the aesthetic a little bit. I think it kind of gives off the idea that the town is still growing, you know, buildings are still being put in, and of course we still have a ways to go before we're actually complete with this area. And as you can see, I gathered up some cows. I had to go way the heck over in that direction and gather up a couple of these guys, and I've since been breeding them up and, you know, kind of expanding their numbers, and I hope to kind of really fill this area at some point. And I still need to get rid of the furnace setup right there, but in due time, But yeah, this is one of the buildings that I set up as well. I decided that I wasn't going to follow the trend of having 2 buildings right there, and instead I was just going to make this one kind of long or wide building, and I think it turned out pretty good. I think it kind of, you know, adds a little shape to the area, and it just looks really nice. Right now it's just blank on the inside because these last couple of buildings that I've been putting in, I have no idea what I plan on doing with them. So yeah, you know, it is what it is, but I think it looks really friggin' good. Can't forget about the water tower, of course. So I decided to add in a water tower, or at least another one, because I know there's one over there. But I decided to add in one more just kind of in this area, and you know, I think it turned out really nicely. I like the barrels at the bottom. I like the lanterns hanging right there just to keep the light level up a little bit. And yeah, I think it looks really good. I also really love the cauldron right there too. I just think it looks really nice. And yeah, I just kind of Googled like a sort of Western town sort of water tower reference, and I kind of followed it like this, and I think it looks pretty good. But let me know what you guys think. And finally, last thing to show you guys, if you just take a look inside the town hall, you can actually see that I got myself a couple of villagers. So I went over to the flower forest area. I went through the portal and just kind of brought these guys over here. It took quite a while, actually. These guys were not very cooperative. We've got them in here. They're going to be going into our soon-to-be villager breeder, and I'm probably going to place it so it's actually visible within the town hall itself. I think that would just look really cool. So yeah, I'm very happy with all that, and I think, you know, during that time lapse we got quite a bit accomplished. But is the western town complete? Heck no. We got a ways to go. But for now, I think that we've made some good progress on things. Alright guys, so we are back over here at the new area that we've been developing. I don't know what to call this area quite yet, but we're not here for the area itself. We're actually here for another reason. So, as I mentioned earlier in this episode, it is 1.19, and you know, I want to kind of explore this update. I kind of want to see what's out there, and so the goal for the rest of this episode is to go out and find mangroves and, you know, go find one of the new swamp biomes. I really want to, you know, I really want to find this kind of place and get the new saplings for the mangroves and, you know, bring them back so I can actually grow them in my home base. But yeah, so the reason I'm here is because I haven't really explored the chunks in this area. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just kind of fly around, see if I can find any mangrove trees or a mangrove swamp, and we'll just go from there. So guys, you know, just give me a minute and I'll join back with you here in a little bit. Hello, little froggy. Oh, he's so stinking cute. Look at that guy. Alright, guys, so as you can see, I actually have found the mangrove forest, and if my frame rate is terrible, that is just because this game is very poorly optimized. All of my settings, as you can see, have been lowered. I'm on fast graphics right now. I have Optifine installed, but that entire journey to get here was just a pain. It was such a pain because I could barely see 2 feet in front of me. I even tweeted about this too, but I cannot for the life of me travel anymore in Minecraft just because the chunks won't load. The game makes my computer completely melt from all the processing it has to do. And it wasn't always like this with Minecraft, but I mean, Mojang, come on, guys, please just optimize your game a little. Hire the guys from Optifine. They do a pretty good job. Alright, but that's enough complaining from me. I'm sure you guys are experiencing these poor optimizations too. I mean, even right now I can feel my chunks kind of struggling, or my frames kind of struggling because they're all chunky. That's where my brain went. Alright, but I guess all that's left to do now is I have to go ahead and harvest up all of these. These are cool. Harvest up the saplings and whatnot, and then we'll just head back to base. Alright, you guys, so we are back over here at our Shattered Savanna area, and if you take a look behind me, you can see that there's a couple of mangroves growing. So, when I came back from this trip, I just planted a couple of them around just to see, like, how well they would grow underwater and whatnot, and when I took a step back just to kind of look at them, they looked really good, and they look really good for this area. And, you know, because the whole point of this area, I want to kind of give it that sort of overgrown but magical kind of effect, and I think mangrove trees are kind of the way to go, at least for around the lake area. So just, yeah, I don't know, they're just a really cool kind of weird looking tree, and I think that kind of goes well on great with just the theme that I'm going for here. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to actually carry on and just continue planting them around the lakeside. Maybe not in the lake itself, but at least around the edges and whatnot, just to kind of, I don't know, break apart like the water from the rest of the Savannah area. I don't know. It just looks really good. But for now, guys, that is actually going to have to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry that it was such a long time coming. It really did take me a while to kind of get around to finishing up this episode, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. But I do have one more thing to talk about before I end this episode off, and that is that I am going to be taking a hiatus from the channel. Now, I'm not going to be gone for too long, but I am going to be gone for a little while. And that's just because things in my life are currently changing. You know, I'm going to be moving soon. I'm going to be starting a new job soon, and there's a whole bunch of big changes that I'm going to be going through right now, and you know, I'm just going to have to step away from content creating for the time being, just until I sort everything out. But then once the dust settles, I can actually jump back into recording again. And believe me, when I come back, I'm coming back big. I've got some huge plans for the channel going forward. I got some ideas for what I want to do with the channel and whatnot, but you'll see it when it comes around to that time. But I hope you guys can just bear with me for a little bit during all this. I mean, I cannot thank you guys enough for your support on this channel. It really just means the absolute world to me. And all I'm asking now is that you just bear with me for a little bit while I sort everything out. But alright guys, for now, that is actually going to have to do it from me, guys. If you guys liked the video, be sure to like the video. If you want to keep up with the channel and everything that's going on, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as the sun is setting on this beautiful area that we've built up, make sure you guys hit that like button. Alright, make sure you guys leave a comment as well, because let me tell you, your comments, they just make my day. But that's gonna have to do it for me, you guys, and I will see you all in the next episode.